Minute is rated R. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is also rated R. We're going to spend this time discussing the movie in gory detail, and along the road we will talk about some adult content and use some of our favorite swear words.
Mamma mia, cheesioso.
Consider yourselves warned.
Welcome to Rocky Horror Minute, the podcast where we discuss the Rocky Horror Picture Show in excruciating detail 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Kelly.
And I'm your other host, Leandra.
All right.
Leandra,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Is it time to drop in the final countdown?
It's the final countdown. Cute. Huge Joe Blues. Yeah, but it's true. Well, this is minute 95, so after this minute, we will have 5 episodes to go. Leandra?
Yeah?
I made you swear to do a favor if ever I should need it, and summarize this minute, and that day has come.
Oh no. I hope I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so too.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Because I don't want to let you down. I know that you need this.
Thank you. I do.
We ended last minute with a flashback of Transylvanians dancing the time warp. Riff and Magenta reappear on screen. Riff says, "But it's the pelvic thrust." And on thrust, Magenta gasps and aims her crotch toward Riff. There's another flashback, this time with lyrics. The Transylvanians sing, "That really drives you insane." And we see 4 more of our favorite Transylvanians, this time Rufus, Kimmy, Christopher, and Tony. The flashback continues to a scene of the Transylvanians in a line, dancing, with Riff and Magenta doing a slow spinning dance together in the foreground. It's not the same as the shot that we saw in the film previously of this moment. It is a slightly different one. Mm-hmm. With what feels like an odd choice of musical accompaniment, the mandolin, Magenta's voice is heard over top of the scene saying, "Unto our world, we'll do the time warp," and then snapping back to present time, she declares, "Again!" And Riff and Magenta laugh evilly while connecting their upstage elbows in what might be best known as an elbow sex quickie. They spin off in opposite directions, never to be seen again. Janet and Brad help a limping Dr. Scott out of the house, down some steps, and out toward the driveway, just moments before the house flies away in a cloud of dust, with a rainbow appearing above as it enters the sky. And if you've never seen the UK version, you're in for a real treat, because there's a song right here, right now.
What?
Exactly, I know. So, this is big if true and is true. So, live from the rubble, a now extremely disheveled, filthy, but somehow extremely hot, while wearing the remains of clown face Brad, sits and laments, and then he sings. He says, "I've done a lot, God knows I've tried, to find the truth, I've even lied, but all I know is down inside I'm blee."
Blee!
I don't know what blee is, but my response to that is, no, you're Brad. And that's the minute.
Really huge minute, I would say. I don't know about you. The first time I watched this movie, I was not prepared for the entire castle to take off. It's so good. It's so funny.
And it doesn't matter that Riff says we're about to beam the entire house back to the planet of transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania. Those words don't mean shit. And then he does it.
Well, do you know... Yeah, that's true. I'm very confused by the castle liftoff, right? First of all, how do you think it was done? Because I'll tell you, it is not what they wanted to do. Richard O'Brien, he said on the commentary, "Now this is interesting. We couldn't afford the special effects shot, so when this goes up, you'll see the same house behind," which is true. You can just barely see that the castle is still, there in the background. But what... And if you look at the shooting script, it says the castle is surrounded by a giant beam of light and then vanishes. So that wasn't their plan, and that's probably why I said beam the house back to Transylvania. But they couldn't figure out the special effects for that. I think they should have done it painting on the thing like they did with the laser blasts, but they didn't ask me.
That was It was a choice that they made to do it like this, and I'm not sure that it's the best
But
choice.
well, I love it. I think it's hilarious. Like the idea of the whole castle just taking off. You know what I mean? That's very funny to me. And it's interesting effects, but I'm wondering, how do you think they actually achieved this effect? Like, did they have a little castle?
So, what I think they did was a Monty Python style, like, cut and paste job. Like, I think that they took a
Yeah, in
picture.
Monty Python, that's exactly what they did. But then I feel like they could have erased it from the background, but it
But
all
they
adds to the
didn't.
cheapness, as Frank Zappa would say, which just makes it more charming. But you even see like chunks of turf falling, and I don't know exactly how they achieved that, but it's really fun, you know.
Yeah, my guess is that that was just added in post.
Yeah, it must have been. Anyway, it's interesting thought. I don't know, even though it would have made for a cleaner movie, I don't think I would switch it for a beam of light.
The only thing that I
Yeah.
might switch it for is like a castle on a fishing line floating away onto, like, into the stars on a black backdrop.
Well, I would have also accepted. Have you ever seen? Well, I know you've probably seen it, but do you remember in The Simpsons when Frink is pitching a home security system,
Yeah.
and it is the house like raises up on legs and starts to run away, and then it like immediately falls over and catches fire? I would have accepted that as well.
Yeah. Or even a giant bubble.
All of these are great ideas, but I also really like what they went with, and I think all of the little cheap things about it make it all the more charming. I also really liked the attention to detail of putting a rainbow in, because there was a storm, now it's sunny, and it kind of, symbolizes hope and homosexuality. I love it.
It was
Although I
also.
don't think it even symbolized homosexuality at the time.
So it did in so much as it symbolized, like, Wizard of Oz, and that was supposed to be one of the final nods to Wizard of Oz. If you recall, there was some talk of the first bit of it being in black and white and then going to color during Time
Hmm.
Warp.
Yeah,
So this was supposed to be one final, like, shake of that reference.
that makes sense. What's not immediately clear to me is how we've only seen Brad so far, but everybody is covered in what appears to be like soot, as though they're like an old timey chimney sweep. It's not clear to me what about this liftoff got them dirty in that way.
Yeah, and they weren't dirty as they exited.
No,
Like, I double checked.
no. Yeah, no, they're not. And I mean, I think the idea is like, I mean, obviously you would get some kind of shit on you as a castle took off and is dropping dirt everywhere. I just don't think it would look like this, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, it is. I'm happy that they did it. I don't know that it was the right choice, but it is a fun choice.
If you're doing a costume for a con or something, I wouldn't recommend trying to imitate this look.
No,
It's gonna look
particularly
weird.
because I wrote in my notes, "Oh no, he ripped his corset. He must be so embarrassed."
Well, yeah, I meant more that smearing black all over your face can be misconstrued,
Oh,
but that
yeah.
as well.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about the practicality of having a completely destroyed corset.
Yes. No, I've never seen anybody, and I'm sure it's been done, but I've never seen anybody do like end of movie Brad and Janet. Probably because of the way it would look like they were in blackface. But if you have done this and it doesn't look like you were in blackface, please show me. I'd be interested to see it.
I've seen people, particularly Janet's, sometimes mess their hair up a bit, and like there's
Mm-hmm.
even, and we'll talk about this later, she's got a like strand of hair that's plastered to her upper lip, and you
Yeah.
can kind of replicate that.
Mm.
So I do love the amount of fog though that's used for this scene. I
Yes.
Oscar, may he rest in peace, is forever asking for fog machines, particularly 5 fog machines. And if we could have 5 fog machines, it would be for this scene.
And we have used fog machines for this scene, not in our normal
Right.
show because that there's way too many reasons that we are never doing that. But at the big show, we've done it and it looks fucking
It
great.
really does. I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with fog machines. I have a
Oh, I
problem
know.
with doing it in our theater because it will set off the smoke alarm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of fog machines. Well, I'm not a fan of working with fog machines because the fog hurts my eyes and makes me nauseous. But they do, they look good in a certain circumstance. But I certainly wouldn't want to do it in an enclosed movie theater.
That's fair. Oh, going back just a bit. So the mandolin music. I I guess for me, it kind of gives the implication that we should think of Transylvania as the old country. Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going for as
but
well.
but why?
I think that's also why Magenta has that accent.
But that's
Well,
not.
it is to
But the
them.
old country in Italy, you're not going to have a Boris and Natasha style, like, Russian accent. What is this?
What do you mean, Italy?
The mandolin music? It's very like it's an Italian mandolin.
Yeah, but I think like lots of that part of Europe would use that kind of thing. It could also easily be Romanian, for example.
Okay. I
But yeah, I mean, I think I do agree. I think that's what they were going for, and also I think that that's sort of the idea Magenta had with her accent. I don't necessarily think that they were trying to connect those two and tie Transylvania to any specific country in Europe, but I think the general idea is there, you know?
I guess that's fair. Maybe. I don't know. I just as much as I like the randomness of having the mandolin music in there, we're talking about old timiness of something that happened 8 or 9 hours ago in universe. Like I don't think back to this morning and getting out of bed and have the soundtrack of bum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba ba da ba da 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 da.
But I don't think it's like that. I think it's like we talked a little bit last minute about how these flashbacks are sort of like connecting all of the Transylvanian things, and we realize that this is like a folk dance in Transylvania. I think it's trying to link it to being a folk dance that from their old country or planet. Because that is folk, like classic European folk dance music, you know?
Like I said, I don't know that I think that it's a great choice. It is a fun choice though.
It really works for me. That's all I can say.
And then the only other note that I have is just the guitar in this new song that we're getting to listen to. It goes so hard. Like this is wailing guitars and just kind of a very very pleasingly like depressing tone that it's hitting.
Yeah.
And those are my notes.
I have a couple more. First of all, a line that I always misheard until today when I realized that I was hearing it wrong is when she says, "And our world will do the time warp again." I always heard that as "in our world, we'll do the time warp again," which is subtle, but really changes the meaning of the phrase because now it's saying that their world has not been able to do the time warp or something. I don't know what it. Maybe this has some kind of connection to the Noble Mission. Thoughts?
Maybe it's that it's kind of like an Andalite home planet. Their home planet is dying and their noble mission was somehow to to steal something or bring something from
Yeah.
Earth, maybe even Transylvanians that they've like
Yeah.
created. I don't fucking know. But it's to create an army of people who can do the time warp again.
Yeah, I think it was something like that too. Now, of course, the Andalites would never do anything like that because while they're kind of self righteous and they're basically like high fantasy elves, so, you know, they're very, very self important and kind of look down on other races, because they're so self righteous, they really they don't do like evil thing. Well, I wouldn't say that so much. But they don't colonize other planets, let me put it that way. And they try to stop colonization. But the Yeerks, for sure,
I thought
will.
you were gonna say the Andalites don't dance, and I was like, I think you're conflating Andalites with like that town from Footloose.
I don't have any evidence that Andalites do dance, but it's the kind of thing they maybe would do.
That's fair.
However,
What the fuck is this
oh
podcast?
god, I love talking about Animorphs. Your fault for bringing it up. But so anyway, I thought that was interesting and maybe gives us a little window into the mission. This is why I think the time warp has more significance than just being a dance. But here's the thing, Leandra, and I'm no happier to say this than you're going to be to hear it. But I think we have a responsibility to analyze these lyrics, and that's a shame because
I'm ready.
they're not great ones in my opinion. But so let's just go through it. So Brad says, I've done a lot. God knows I've tried. Which I'm like, okay, you know, he's saying like he's done his best, whatever. But then he says, to find the truth, I've even lied. What the fuck is he talking about there?
So I don't know that this has anything to do with anything. I think that it's just a moody song, but I
Yeah.
think that
I
you can
know.
give it the meaning of Brad is maybe not regretting, but confused about the sexual journey he was just on. So he's done a lot, he's tried to find the truth about himself, but he was lying to himself. Like an argument can be made that it's something
Yeah.
like that.
Let's just be honest, it doesn't make a ton of
No.
sense. And then he says, and all I know is down inside I'm bleeding, which okay, I guess.
Hopefully emotionally.
Here's the
Hopefully.
thing. I suspect this is one of the songs that was not written for Rocky.
What?
I know, because we know that some weren't, and this really doesn't fit it's a stretch to fit it to this moment and these characters, in my opinion. Which is not to say I don't like the song necessarily, but I do think it seems like it was just kind of shoehorned in there. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
No, I agree. It reminds me of many years ago, there was this pre show, it was the Rocky Horror 80s pre show, and they replaced this song with I've Had the Time of My Life. and and I really think that that's a better song choice.
It's definitely funnier.
Especially because everybody can dance
the
off the stage.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Of course, this scene is often cut, which we've already talked about, and the song, which it doesn't seem like a song when they do it like this, but it starts with Crim's Richard O'Brien called it a verse. It's not even really a verse, it's just like 2 lines. But anyway, the criminologist is going to say something soon, and that's where the movie would cut if Superheroes was being cut. Richard O'Brien on the commentary talked about that and said, this makes no sense whatsoever, which is true. But it's true also that the song never made any sense. So, you know.
I still like the song.
I'm not saying I didn't like the song. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense.
No,
in the movie,
agreed.
in the context of the movie. Yeah. Yeah, it's much better to me than a couple of the songs that I think were written for the show.
Agreed.
So. Anyway, but and also even though the lyrics don't make any sense, the vibe does fit,
100%. Yeah.
which is all that really matters, I guess. But that's all I have.
So what callbacks do you have?
I'm so glad you asked. They're all to do with Brad. And it's really just one, and then one I made up. But it's responses to Brad's lines. You can do it a couple of ways. I know Leandra has a way that she likes to do it. My preference is the classic. I've done a lot of anal sex. God knows I've tried anal sex to find the truth about anal sex. I've even lied about having anal sex. And all I know is down inside, I'm bleeding. And usually what I hear there is, you should have used more lube or something. I usually just say, you are not doing it right, which is true. Guys, if you're bleeding from anal sex, please, please don't do it. Like, look up lube and poppers. Oscar can help you with that, wherever he is. The one that I would like to have be real, and that I have started saying really just for my own enjoyment, is, what's it like when you sit on a jar down inside and bleeding? That's a reference to an old video. If you know what I'm talking about, I am so sorry. If you don't, just don't look into it.
Yeah, it's really not needed to look that up. You get the gist of it.
Yeah, I think you
it's
get
right
it.
there
You
on
don't
the
want to
tin
see it.
or the jar.
And yeah, jar. Well, see, that's the problem, is I can no longer read the jar because
No,
it's shattered and covered in my ass blood. But anyway,
my anus is bleeding. My anus is bleeding. Oh my god, my anus is bleeding. I'm a
that's all I
banana.
have. Such classic. Hey, how about the feeling of rust on my salad fingers is orgasmic.
This is great.
I love old videos that, back in the day, children, we had so few videos. It's crazy. The videos we had to subsist on, everyone would see any remotely viral video. Like, I mean, the numbers that a video of just some kid biting his brother's finger did, insane. It was a different time.
It really was.
That's all I have.
Okay. Well, I have a couple more than that. Starting at the top of the minute, there's more acid flashback callbacks, including, I don't even remember this one. Or, wait, this wasn't in the movie. And then the callback to that callback is, shut up, it is now.
That's good.
And then, our world will do the same shit again. It's a nice reference back to a callback from the time warp. Then there's somewhere over the rainbow castles fly. And you can do that as the castle flies away.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that one, you can go, ladies and gentlemen, the building has left Elvis.
I like that. If you can tell.
Yeah. You didn't quite humor hog it, but
No, but I got a real kick out of that
yeah.
one. A+.
And then, as alluded to, there's a lot that you can say with regards to Brad's lines in this song. And I like I've done a lot of sex with gerbils, to have sex with gerbils, and just keep going with that, because sex with gerbils is, I don't know, the thing that line is. The one that I looked up today that I actually think might be more our vibe, more our cast sort of bag baby, is, Brad, how much pot do you smoke? I've done a lot of different drugs. God knows I've tried some different drugs. And you just keep going with about different drugs, about all the drugs, after keistering those drugs, down inside I'm bleeding. And you can finally finish that with, so swallow a tampon and shut up. Which is, Plug it up,
Yeah.
plug it up, plug it up.
That's what I think of. Every time I use a tampon, I think of that.
Nice. Very,
Yeah, just
very Carrie.
well, I mean, yeah, it's from
Yeah.
Carrie. Yeah, that's what I think of. Yeah,
I was telling the audience in case they didn't understand the reference.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, if they didn't understand the reference, I don't have anything to say to them.
Well,
Actually, I do. Watch Carrie
yeah,
by Brian De Palma,
it's good. Is
who
good.
also directed Phantom of the Paradise.
Which is also
Watch
good.
that too. Maybe we'll cover it minute by minute one day.
Yeah. But not right now, because now
No,
you don't have to go home, but
so
you can't stay here, so get the fuck out.
To the late night double feature picture show.
After this one, we'll have to sing 5 Minutes by Madonna and Justin Bieber. Not Justin Bieber. Not Justice Beaver. Justin Timberlake.
Okay, that makes a lot
Yes.
more sense. Still not familiar with the track, but
It's
it's easier for me to imagine by a lot.
I'm out of time and I only got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah, it's great. I'm cutting this because I'm editing this one, and that was
Aw, man.
just this bit.
But it was funny. All right.
Just this bit. And this bit. But also this bit.
What about this bit?
No, that's staying in.
Woo.
Woohoo!
All right. Lee.